Hello, everybody. How's it going? It's me, Crendor, and welcome back to another episode of Fishing with Crendor. I actually forgot to check the episode. Oh god, what episode are we on? Fishing Crendor. I fished with Hazel last time, which means so we're 59, episode 59, and today I am happy to have the one, the only Captain Grim, or you just want to be called Grim?
Grim is fine. Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. I mean, I feel like, well, I'll just let you tell everybody who you are. I was gonna give you a little synopsis, but you can do it.
I'm basically a WoW machinima maker. That's pretty much what specifically my channel is about so far. And I just make WoW comedy machinimas. That's it pretty much.
I mean, that is, technically you're right, but I feel like you have some of the best machinimas I've seen in maybe over the years. Because a lot of times when I see machinimas, a lot of times it's either people going really heavily into the editing and the model viewer and doing all sorts of crazy After Effects stuff. But to me, the writing isn't that good. And sometimes people are pretty good with writing, but the editing isn't that good. Me. And then other times, there's you get a good combination of both. And I feel like you just got a good combination of both.
Well, I appreciate that. As people are their own worst critics. So I'm probably the first one to say that I could always use improvement. But I'm just happy people appreciate my content. I'm just happy to, provide. I don't know. I just enjoy content creation in general, and it's always kind of been my thing to. I don't know. I always wanted to get into it, and I'm just happy that right now it just kind of happened. I wasn't even planning to do WoW stuff, but it just kind of swept me by, and I was like, okay, well, sure. I guess we're doing this right now.
Well, we'll get into how you got into it. So let's just start with,
Sure.
just how you got into maybe video games in general. Were you 5 years old and you had a Super Nintendo, or how'd that happen?
Yeah, honestly, I'd say I was probably 4 or 5, and I did have, I think, a Super Nintendo. I'm not exactly sure what it was, but I think it was some Nintendo console. And I don't know. I mean, I didn't really think of games as too much for me. I didn't regard them as a big part of my life. I just thought, oh, this is fun, and I'll do it sometimes. But I kind of rather go out and play with my friends or something.
Mm-hmm.
I was just playing stuff like Super Mario and Street Fighter or whatever, and just most of the basics, really.
Did you play games with your friends then?
I mean that probably started happening later, when we actually started getting computers around the age of 7 or 8. And because I had several friends and we're just living really close to each other, always hopping from someone's place to the other, we'd be like, dude, I got this new game, you want to come over? And we just go from one person to the other and play just different games. And eventually the main time I got into video games is probably when my older cousin introduced me to Warcraft 3, honestly. And that's when I actually felt like, damn, I actually want to play this actively.
Was that a few years after you actually got a computer?
Yeah. Even after I got a computer, I was interested. Immediately after I got a computer, the guy who installed it for me, even though I was 7, he installed this very scary horror vampire game. And with, how models looked weird back then, and it just looked very weird for a 7-year-old to see some game where you're going around in the dark and some monsters jump at you. And I got scared of the computer, so I didn't touch it for months. And I was like, yeah, I'm good. I'll play with my friends. I don't think computers are that fun.
I wonder what game that was. There's probably somebody already in the comments I know the game.
I don't know. I'm not going into specifics too much, but yeah, and then my friends were kind of like, "Hey, there's this internet cafe here around the corner. Want to go and try something?" And I started progressively warming up to the idea.
So when you played Warcraft 3, was it at an internet cafe, or was it just your cousin's uh, computer, like your computer?
Yeah, yeah, it was on their computer, and then he took me to an internet cafe a bit,
Oh,
and yeah,
because it kind of gave me flashbacks to Age of Empires.
yeah,
Cause
exactly. That was literally the other one that alongside it.
yeah, cause like Age of Empires, I remember I played it at my friend's house, and it was just like it blew my mind. I think I was in sixth grade
Yeah.
or something, so I was like, I don't know, however old you are in sixth grade, and I was just like, oh my god! And I remember skipping a field trip so that I could stay home and play Age of Empires. Like, not like a 1 day
Oh,
field trip. It was like a multiple day. You had to get like a permission slip and whatever. And I was like, I don't want to do this. I want to play Age of Empires. So I just stayed home and played it. And it was honestly more memorable.
yeah. I mean, probably. I don't know. I also had so many like days that I would just binge Age of Empires. Even back in the day, like I don't know if you've actually played with other people. Back then, I was just satisfied playing with the bots. I was like building my own little towns, putting the
Mm.
buildings neatly together. And nowadays, if I look at RTSs and I am like, okay, I want to get into Warcraft again. And then I look at what all the people are doing, all of these strategies, optimizing, min-maxing. I'm like, oh, okay, I just can't do it. I just want to build my little village and that's it.
Yeah. No, I only played against bots back then too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think you had to. I would have had to use dial-up internet if I wanted to even play against anyone. So
Yeah,
it
that's fair
was,
enough.
yeah. But I know Empire Earth, which was like a few years after. Maybe not too many, but like 1 or 2 years. That's when I started playing online with like RTS. But that was like, I wasn't min maxing or anything, but you're like learning as you go. Like you'd play against other people, and they're like, you should build the cavalry archers in the middle. And then you're like, oh, okay. And then you would just learn from them. So it's kind of a, I don't know. I think it was more fun because you didn't have to read strategies online and guides and everything. You just
Yeah,
learned from
sure.
other people.
Yeah, yeah. I also like that about games back in the day. Just the notion of learning yourself and being like, man, I learned this new strategy. I'm gonna be the hottest new thing at the internet cafe. All the other kids are just gonna grovel beneath me. That's it.
So when was it that you got into WoW?
Well, that was just kind of like around that time when I learned of Warcraft 3. Before that, with my friends, I would just play like something like Counter Strike or something,
Mm.
or like I don't know, just general stuff like GTA San Andreas, etc.
Mm.
And eventually, when my cousin started introducing me to Warcraft 3, and he was like, "Dude, do you really like this game a lot?" And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, it's my favorite game." And he's like, "Do you know that there's this like huge game that's literally Warcraft, but you play as one of the characters and you just go around?" And I was like, "What? That sounds crazy!" And he told me about WoW basically, and then I just went home and I just put on some videos of WoW, and I was literally blown away. I don't know why, but like just seeing the character on screen moving around and the graphics. I mean, I hadn't seen like an MMO type of game before, and especially seeing stuff like, oh, a raid group takes down Ragnaros. There's 40 people just like ants in the and like compared to this huge lava monster and just all of them hitting them, spell effects going everywhere. Like it all seemed so magical. I was super blown away, and I instantly got hooked to MMOs. And I was like, I need to play WoW, and I couldn't afford it.
So how did you finally afford it? Did you convince your parents to
um,
like let you use their credit card or something?
Honestly, that didn't happen for quite a while. In my country, it's not that financially stable, and my family wasn't really like doing that well. It
Mm.
was my parents were usually on that mentality that yes, you can buy 10 $5 sandwiches, but don't let me catch you buying one $5 game. Like that's crazy. Why would you spend money on video games?
Oh yeah, it's like a
And
survival mentality.
yeah, and when I mentioned something like, Mom, can I play this game? I think you need to like pay like $15 a month or something. And she's like, what are you joking? Shut up. Something like that. I just completely disregarded it like a joke. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'm not playing this. But yeah, I mean, eventually I just got so hooked because I just would binge videos. And I mean, that's kind of how I got into like just the WoW culture. I was just binging a lot of videos online, like throughout all of the years. And just eventually machinimas, and then I would literally just search for alternatives. I would just Google top 10 free MMOs to play, and I would just get all of them and play them and tell my friends, guys, this is a really cool game. And that's pretty much how my early teenagehood went. I just literally played other games to sate my desire to play WoW, because I literally couldn't. And eventually, like, when I was 15 or so, I learned of private servers, and I'm not really happy for going on private servers in retrospective, but as a kid, like, I just wanted to play WoW. Yeah. There was nothing gonna stop me. My parents didn't care as long as I didn't spend money, so I just went with it, and I just hopped on some servers, and it was like the best experience ever.
Yeah, it's especially when you're a kid, I don't even think you understand it completely. You're just like, whoa, I can play for free. Like, this is great.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that was it. I mean, I don't know if a lot of, like, the government or stuff cares about, like, copyright and stuff like that, or pirating in our country. So it was literally, like, free, quote unquote. So, yeah.
When did you start playing that? Was it Burning Crusade yet, or was it still vanilla?
No, the first server I ever started was RAF, and I never tried vanilla or BC.
Oh, wow. Did you play Classic WoW then?
Yeah, I did play Classic WoW a lot. I mean, I did make a lot of videos on it. It would have been weird if I didn't.
That's true. I didn't even think of that. You start making videos of it with no knowledge. Like, I never played it before.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for Burning Crusade too, but it's almost a nostalgic thing again, because like I thought I was just gonna play Classic WoW out of nostalgia and be like, all right, I got my nostalgia fix, whatever. But I ended up like really enjoying it, and so that's why I'm so excited to try Burning Crusade again too, because I think I'm gonna have even more fun because it's got a lot of improvements to it. I think it helps fix a lot of the things Classic WoW is like, well, it would be nice if we had like a form of group finder, not one that ports you to the place, but just hey, other people are looking for a dungeon. Like, here we go.
Yeah, I mean, the way I see TBC in my eyes is it's literally vanilla, but just better. That's how I see it. It's just flat out vanilla, but better. The same feel and stuff.
Yeah.
And like, I agree with you. I mean, I didn't have any nostalgia to go back on. The only nostalgia I had was for old WoW, quote unquote, because whatever the case, WoW has changed a lot, throughout the expansions, I feel. And I just wanted a taste of like what I experienced back in Wrath or something like that. And like, I could say a lot about Classic, and I wouldn't say like right now I'm too thrilled by it, but the launch and the first few months of Classic, that was actually magical. Like, that was some of the best experiences I've had in an MMO of recent years.
Oh yeah, no, I loved it. That was, yeah, I'm still nostalgic about like the Classic nostalgic launch, essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like I don't know. There's just something about like the login servers even being like 10,000 people waiting to get in and having to do all that, and then everybody leveling and just all like literally everybody I knew was playing it, so it was just crazy. And then
exactly.
It was just, I don't know, yeah, I loved it. I thought it was great. And then currently, like, I don't know, I haven't really played Classic WoW in months, a lot of months probably, but like I got everything I wanted out of it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I also haven't played it seriously for a while now.
And what about Shadowlands? Have you played Shadowlands?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I've already made some videos on Shadowlands too.
Yeah. Again, it all makes sense.
It does make some sense.
It's I like the thing with Shadowlands was I thought Shadowlands it is pretty good. I like Shadowlands, but to me it's just no matter if it's a good expansion or a bad expansion, I end up just playing like about a month and a half to 2 months, and then a lot of people I know start playing other games or getting bored and doing other stuff, and so I kind of follow that, and I'm like, yeah, you know, I'll play some other stuff, and I'll still do things like I'll PvP a bit and do things, but it kind of just falls off. But I feel like that's just, you know, I feel like that always happens for the most part.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I mean, well, I mean, let's just say I didn't enjoy BFA. I just did not enjoy that, whatever the fuck that was.
Yeah.
And I was happy with a lot of the things that Shadowlands either brought back or fixed or did. But, you know, I remember when it came out and everyone was like going on Twitter, either WoW content creators or other personalities, and they were just straight up slamming a fact in a tweet: Shadowlands is good. Full stop. That's it. And I was like, man, I don't know how I feel about it, because it's like 1 week in the expansion, and people were asking me, hey, how do you feel about Shadowlands? I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I feel it's good so far, but it's like a honeymoon period. My mind is fogged. And now, when it's been like a month, I mean, I just feel like it's okay, but I don't feel like it's something that will make me go, oh my god, this is it. WoW's next biggest thing, I'm going in, you know. It's okay. I don't know. There's a lot to talk about it, but
yeah. No, I definitely agree. Like, I enjoyed the raid. I thought the raid was fun. I enjoyed PvPing. I actually enjoy how you can PvP to get gear to kind of help you PvE.
That's crazy.
Yeah, 'cause it's like, I don't know. It made me PvP for the first time in like forever. And then just on top of that, like, I enjoyed leveling. I enjoyed the zones, but I don't know, the time gating. I get how a lot of people like the time gating, because they're like, oh, it helps me like pace myself out a bit and do all that. But and I don't mind it that much either. But I think the reason I did mind it was because it kind of, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna keep playing for weeks later, so I'd rather do it now. And then, you know, I didn't really keep playing for weeks later, and then I was like, oh yeah, because it's just like, I don't know, I'm the type of person now where, like, I like playing other games. I don't really like playing just one game. So I'm like, oh, this other game came out. Now everybody's playing this game. And like, oh, I can play, you know, Magic the Gathering Arena's new set came out. And I've literally just played that for like 4 days in a row. So it's like, I don't know, I like variety. And then when something new comes out in a while, I'll probably go back and check it out. But I don't really, you know, play it that much. Outside of mount farming. I love me some mount farming.
Yeah, I can relate with that. Like, I kind of feel like before, like years ago, I had like this interest of WoW. Like, yeah, I'd played for several weeks non-stop, and then I get tired for a month, and then I will come back, and etc. But nowadays, I just feel like there's so many alternative games in other genres, not necessarily MMOs, that are just built so well to giving you the best amount of entertainment for the most efficient amount of time, that you just can't help but play them. And WoW, usually it's like, okay, do I play like a game of Dota for 40 minutes and get my fix, or do I level in WoW for 2 hours and finish on level 43 and that's it? You know, kind of have this debate in my head, and yeah, I also kind of fall off as the expansions go. I just stuck around for Classic the most, probably. That's probably the most I've done actual, legit WoW content, because I tend to be a casual WoW player nowadays, I feel.
Yeah, I would say I'm definitely casual. And in fact, like back in the day, I was still casual. Like, I remember in vanilla WoW, I got to level like 41, 42, 43, I don't know, around there. Yeah. And I remember quitting and playing Star Wars Galaxies, because everybody I knew was going to play that, and I was like, I haven't even gotten my mount anyway. This game's dumb. And then, so I went and played that, and then eventually I was like, I miss WoW, and then I came back, and so, like, you know, I used to quit back then, like, after a few months. I mean, it's nothing new. I think it's, in fact, I think it's what most people do. But
yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah, I don't know. It's, honestly, I agree. Like, classic WoW is what, I played the alpha or the beta or whatever it was. And I got to, like, my a level cap in that, which I think was 40. And then I played the actual game when it released, and then, you know, I got to max level, and I raided and did everything. So, I mean, I played Classic WoW for probably, like, 3-4 months, which I think is the most I've played WoW in a long time.
Yeah, same. It took me 6 months or something to level 60. I had so little time around making videos and doing uni work that I just was taking so slow, and everyone was asking me, "Hey, are you level 60 yet?" No, I'm level 38. And it's like, oh, it's been 4 months. What the fuck are you doing? I'm just kind of being sad because I feel like I'm missing out on the fun. But when I eventually got to the end, it still felt pretty good.
Yeah, I think the leveling experience just in general is just really nice because it feels like you're, you know, you're not rushing anywhere. Like, you're like, oh, I got the level, you know, 100 something in like 8 hours or whatever it takes now. It's like, you know, it takes you weeks, if not months.
Yeah, I mean, there's still like probably this, but I mean, I feel that's like in the whole WoW community. That's one of the things that's probably put me off Classic recently is just the huge amount of min-maxing, tryharding, elitism, stuff like that, gatekeeping, etc.
Oh, yeah.
So many people just naturally try hard so much that it just makes the game void. And when you're in that type of an environment, you can't help but doing it yourself, even if you don't want to. You just feel like doing it. It's like, oh, why shouldn't I strive to level 60 in like 3 days like this guy instead of taking 5 months or some shit?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just a very weird environment, and to those people, it's really natural. Like, what the fuck? You're not an orc warrior? You think I'm gonna invite you to my raid group? What the fuck are you kidding? And
Yeah.
they just laugh, and you ask them, but dude, what does it matter? I mean, literally the first molten core had level 50s, and they're like, what do you think it matters? We're gonna save like 30 seconds on the run. I have to be somewhere. It's very important.
Yeah, that's definitely not my play style.
Yeah, I didn't like that either that much.
I mean, you know, that was the thing that was different about it now compared to back then. Was just, you know, back then nobody knew what was going on. You know, I remember like loading up World of Warcraft.com when the game first came out and being like, oh my god, I can do professions like cooking and fishing. Those will be my professions. Like, I don't even know, like, they were secondary professions. I thought they were just, you pick professions and you do them. So, like, there's that kind of new game novelty and mystery to it all that now kind of isn't there because everyone's like, all right, if you're not doing this thing, then you're doing it wrong. And it's like, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
So, let's, speaking of videos and everything, let's talk about how you got into making videos. So when did you actually start your YouTube channel?
This one is probably done like, I probably made it like 5 years ago. I think that's what it says on like, I don't know, YouTube Studio thingy. But initially I just never even knew about YouTube. My country just had their own, like, I don't know, a website for video sharing, so I just used that. And eventually around the craze of WoW and stuff like that, I tried going, just generally searching on Google, and I stumbled across YouTube. And coincidentally, the first things that got me actually into WoW was, not into WoW, into YouTube, was I found Total Biscuit's videos on his Cataclysm, like, playthroughs.
Oh, yeah.
When it just came out or something. And then from then on, I literally started watching him actively because I was like, oh shit, this guy has a great voice. I'm interested. I want to watch more. I watched more. Then I literally, like, no jokes, that's literally how I got into YouTube. Then I got into, from him, I started watching Jesse Cox. And with Jesse Cox around him, I found your stuff. I don't know if
That's where it all went downhill.
Yeah, literally how it all started, like, no joke. And I think I might have watched your machinimas before that, but I just kind of picked up your other stuff, like gameplay and stuff like that. And then from then on, I just kind of was like, hey, YouTube is pretty cool. And I just found out about a lot more YouTubers, and I was like, man, this is great. And I remember one day very vividly, because I would spend like days, like literally binging videos all day of different YouTubers. And I was just sitting there on my subscription page, and I was like, literally, it was in the summer, it was hot, I was like feeling like a wet rag on my chair, like I didn't have any energy, but I just wanted to watch videos. And I was staring at my subscription page for uploads, and I had watched all of them. And for some reason, I was like, man, this is so boring. I really wish I could watch something. Wouldn't it be cool if there was like some kid at some point in the exact situation as me, and just then my new upload came up on their subscription feed and they could watch it? I don't know. That's just the idea I had back then. And I thought that was so interesting. Because at that point, I was like, I don't know, 13, 14 or something. And people were always asking me, hey, what are you planning to do when you grow up? Are you going to be a doctor or a lawyer or something? And I never had an answer for that. Everyone had an answer, and I just felt like, am I doing something wrong? And I'm an idiot. I was like, man, these people are kind of making like, are having, I don't know, video making, entertaining on YouTube as a profession. I would love to try that as well. And that's kind of, it stuck to me really hard, and I just really wanted to give it a go, and here we are, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like most people that end up having success on YouTube kind of have a similar starting point. So I remember when I started making videos in Wrath of the Lich King, it was like towards the end. I remember I joined like some chat with all these like machinima people of the time, and they're like, "Why are you getting into this? Like, WoW's dying now. Like, it peaked, and like it's and like everybody was quitting that did it, and like I was like, I don't know, I still like it." And then so I was just like, I guess I'll make videos. So it was essentially just me and like a couple other people in like this market where it's like, you know, it's essentially quote dying. But dying back then was going from like 12 million active players down to like 8 million or something. I mean, you know, you still have a bunch of people wanting to see stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Jesus.
yeah, it was, I don't know. It was fine with me because I was like, wow, nobody wants to make videos in this market, and I do. So I'm like, all right, I'll do that.
Yeah, fuck it.
And nowadays, it's like there's an oversaturation of people in, you know, and there's far less WoW players than there were back then. But,
yeah, definitely.
It's yeah, it's crazy. Even just getting started. So kind of, I wanted to ask, like, do you remember making your first video then? Because you remember wanting to get into it. It's like, for me, making my first video, I remember it was, I think it was Shaman WoW or something really dumb.
Oh.
And I was just like, wow, what if I just made a really dumb video about the, you know, the slap chop guy with like sham WoW. So I'm like, sham WoW, shaman WoW, and it was terrible, but like I still remember it. So like, do you have a similar thing?
Well, I initially didn't know I do WoW content, as I mentioned earlier, and I was like, man, to make videos, I need to do well, and to do well, I need to probably make videos on a popular game, but I don't want to force myself to play something, so let's try and make videos on the most popular game I'm playing really actively, and that happened to be League of Legends. I made my first video, which is not really on my channel right now, obviously. It was some very dumb guide on Yasuo and Nautilus bot lane guide strategy that me and a friend did. And I don't know, I was just like, okay, let's go. I feel like we have something here. And I don't know, it was a fun process. I didn't really expect much. It got some views, probably like, I don't know, 50, 100 maybe. I don't know. And I was like, man, that's crazy. It was great. And yeah, that was literally my first video ever on YouTube.
So I take it, because I remember that too, like you'd get, not like you specifically, but like I remember getting like, I think 1,000 views on a video. I think it was my Hard Gnome, it's a Hard Gnome Life video, which I was like, all right, and it got featured on WoW. I was gonna say Wowhead. It wasn't Wowhead. It was WoW Insider. That's what it was. And they had a weekly WoW movie thing, and I was like, oh my god. And I think I ended up getting like a few thousand views from it, and that was the moment where I was like, I can do this. Like, was that kind of what that video was for you, or like, did you have a moment where you made a WoW video where you had that kind of realization?
Yeah, no, I mean, I made some League videos that kind of popped off here and there, but just in views because they were shared in forums and stuff. It wasn't really much. I had like probably 20 subscribers after like 10 videos or something, or more, 20 videos. It wasn't going well. I thought it was interesting, so I didn't really mind. But eventually I started hating League,
As one
so I
does.
quit that. I couldn't bear it. That's another topic probably, but yeah, basically I quit League and I was like, fuck this, and I tried some Heroes of the Storm and Hearthstone because I like that, and eventually they weren't doing too well, and I just happened to be binging WoW Machinimas, and I was like, man, I really like WoW Machinimas. I should try making one. I don't know why. Looking back on it, probably a dumb decision, but I guess it worked out. And yeah, I made my first video, which I don't even know I made it, honestly. Like, I legitimately have no idea what was going through my head. I just wanted to tell a story of a Death Knight in a very edgy, serious cinematic way or some shit. And I thought of a script and I made it, and it took me 10 years. I was looking at 10 billion guides. It took me at least 6-7 months, and I posted it, and it was, and I got a comment, and I was like, oh my god, a comment. And the very first comment on my WoW Machinima video ever, my first WoW Machinima video was horrible Machinima. That was the very first comment I received doing WoW videos.
Sounds about right.
But eventually nicer people started showing up, and they were like saying, yeah, that's pretty good. And it got some views. I don't remember how many, but I remember that I got 20 subscribers out of it. And I was like, holy shit, I can do this. It's 20 subscribers. I will just stick to WoW. This is it. This is the breakthrough, the 20 subscribers. That's it. I've never gotten so many. That's like double my current subscribers. I broke the code, obviously. And I guess that's how it started.
Yeah, I remember, I think my first negative comment was on the WoW forums, and I remember someone just said, this guy sounds like a blank. A word I can't say, but, you know, you can use your imagination.
Yeah, I've received a decent amount of those as well, I can imagine.
Yeah, it's, you know, when you first get some of those, you never really have that before, so it's like a bit of like, I remember someone being like, this guy has a weird lisp, and I was like, I have a lisp, and I started asking everybody I know, I'm like, do I have a lisp? And they're like, I mean, maybe a tiny bit, I don't know. And I was like, oh my god. And then, because that's another thing, is you never really hear yourself until you start doing this, and then you're like, oh my god, that's what I sound like. And then eventually you just do it so much, you just get used to it.
Yeah, that's why for my first videos I just did them without any voice, because I was just kind of anxious about it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, I think a lot of people do that on YouTube in general. Like people that make those videos where it's just background music and then like text on the screen being like, "I will now teach you how to delete your WTF folder."
Yeah.
Like, okay.
I mean, I was trying to like compensate for that and really think of the first scripts I did to be like more, okay, they're written to be silent, so it makes more sense.
I see.
But, yeah, I don't know. It was all experimental. I was basically trying to improve with every video I made, because I didn't even know what to do. Initially, like you mentioned earlier, about how you watch machinimas and maybe some of them have really good editing and bad writing, or some of them have good writing and bad editing. And it's like, in my eyes, there's probably two kinds of machinimas you can make. It's either comedic machinimas or cinematic story machinimas, like original story machinimas, like serious stuff, basically. And I initially wanted to start doing like the serious type of machinimas, like high quality cinematic type stuff. around that time, I saw like Hurricanes cinematics, if you know him, the guy that made the Naxxramas
Oh yeah.
cinematic.
Mm.
And those are crazy, in my opinion. They're insanely good. And I was like, man, these are so good. I'm sure I can do them if I put in enough time. And I was starting to spec into that, basically. But eventually I just tried some comedy, and I was like, yeah, this is a bit more fun to make. And comedy doesn't really require quality, good editing. It doesn't really require like super good special effects and animations and stuff. Every time someone asks me something regarding this topic, I always refer them to you, and I'm like, here you go. Like, the guy just uses pretty much in-game recordings and basic color correction because his videos are great, just because his writing is great, and that's what matters in comedy videos.
I would say even basic color correcting's pushing it a bit. It's very
Yeah, but it
very
worked
little.
out, and it just shows.
Yeah,
You-
it's one of those things where I feel like if you can tell somebody's really passionate about what they're doing and they care about it, and they're writing something where it's like you can relate to a bit. There's a lot of comedies just relating in a funny way or kind of over dramatizing things,
Yeah.
and so if you kind of get that, I think sometimes even the kind of bad editing and like drawing in Microsoft Paint and stuff can actually add to it, which
Yeah,
is what I
exactly,
always
agree.
thought.
Yeah, I agree. It definitely adds a layer of it. I don't think it's in any case anything bad. It's not like making some cinematic cool screen and then one of the still shots is a MS Paint drawing, and it's like, okay,
Yeah.
now that's kind of weird. That kind of ruins it.
Yeah, you can't just like you can't force that in. You gotta it has to happen naturally. Like this is the perfect spot for a Microsoft Paint thing, and it happens.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's and it's kind of the other way. Like some people might have really crazy editing and cinematic stuff, but if the writing's bad, it's like it doesn't really matter. Like people
Yeah.
will be like, "This sucks," and they'll tell you it sucks.
Yeah, that's how it is pretty much.
Yeah, so I don't know, it's a rough industry to kind of break into and keep going with. Cause I still have people this day being like, "When are you gonna make something new?" And I'm like, I don't know, and I feel like it. Like I very easily, I could like hire an editor, and I could just write scripts and do the voices and be like, all right, you edit it. But I feel like if I did something like that, it would be for like the monetary purposes of like, oh man, these are gonna get a bunch of views and make money, and like, I don't want it to come to that. Like if I'm editing something, it's because I care about it, and so I don't want to just hire an editor, and then my style is gonna be, kind of depleted at that point. Because even if someone edits to a similar style of how I edited, which was not great, like it's just, I don't know, it loses a part of its soul essentially to me.
Yeah,
So I don't really
agree.
want that.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. I mean, getting into machinimas and doing machinimas nowadays, I feel is like completely different medium since what it was like before.
Oh yeah.
Like, people search for just very different types of WoW content. Not a lot of people are that interested in those types of stuff. I don't feel like machinimas is in any way thriving nowadays. And honestly, I understand that. I think that the whole thing is kind of dated, in my opinion. Like that's kind of weird coming from a person who makes machinimas, but I just personally, like, honestly, I don't even watch that much WoW content anymore. I just don't have that much interest. I think a degree to that is because it's kind of like that thing. After you start doing it, all the fancy lights and the glamour falls off, and then you see it for what it truly is, and then kind of kills your excitement about it. But I just stopped really caring. I'm not really that big of a fan of the machinima format, honestly. I'm not gonna go out of my way and be like, oh shit, I need to watch some machinima right now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if people expect me just because, oh, this guy does machinimas must be his life or something. Like, that's really far from the truth. I even watch WoW so rarely. If I watch WoW, it's just for the person, not because of the game.
Yeah, it's it's interesting because almost every person I've met that's done WoW Machinima always hits a point where they're like, I don't even really like doing it anymore.
Yeah. I mean, it's more like, you know, at the end of the day, content is content. It doesn't really matter how much you like a game or not. It's more like, okay, do you want to entertain people? Do you want to do it through this way? And if you do, just go with it. You know, it's like I still like making the jokes. I still like putting my visions into like a video and letting people joke about them or laugh about them or stuff. So, you know, that's what matters, even if I'm not really that thrilled with machinimas or WoW or stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, even when I made BFA in a minute, like maybe like 4 or 5 months ago. This point.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and like I enjoyed making it. I wasn't like, oh man, this sucks. Why am I like? I enjoyed everything about it, but then, you know, it just felt like I was like, all right, well, that satiated my like WoW Machinima content creation for a while.
Yeah.
And then, because I still enjoy kind of off-brand. Like I did my pointless top 10 stuff. I still enjoy doing that, which you might not think so because I haven't made one in a while. But like, I still enjoy doing it because it's like you're exploring the world and seeing little things and all that. And that's what I always enjoyed about the game.
Yeah, it's pretty chill.
Do you think you would do some off-brand things like that, or are you just still strictly sticking to machinimas? Because like, looking at your channel, you're very committed, I guess, to the machinimas. Like, would you ever branch off from that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've tried it once. I really wanted to make a documentary type video about the corrupted blood. And it didn't really end up being like a documentary video, but I did it anyway. It's more like a commentary video with machinima sprinkled into it. Just, I don't know, I just really wanted to make something that's not a the whole idea behind this video was I'm getting tired of doing machinimas. I need to break away from that. I need some video that's a bit different. And because before that, just really quickly, before I actually even got any traction on YouTube or anything, or I basically couldn't pay my own rent, so I started working for other YouTubers as an editor, like people in the WoW content, the WoW community, like Crucial and Hirmardex, which are two really good friends of mine, and they both do like these types of commentary type video. You know, they choose a topic and they talk about it, and I edited a lot of those. And I basically got the hang of it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do one like that, but for my channel. And then for some reason, I sprinkled more machinima into it than a regular machinima video, and I was like, okay, well that went great. But yeah, technically it was the first non-machinima video. I'd be excited to do some more like that. I just, you know, yeah, I'm not sure.
It's I mean, it can be kind of scary.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
You build your entire channel off something, and then you're like, well, now we're going to branch away from that. And you get people being like, well, now I'm leaving. I'm getting out of here.
I miss old Grim or old Crendor.
Yeah. I'm like, dude, if I haven't changed in like 10 years, that's probably not a good thing.
Yeah. Like, Jesus Christ, what do people expect?
Yeah. Like, imagine, I was saying on Twitter to somebody, it was like, you know, people will be like, oh, you changed. It's like, imagine in a book if a character at the start of the book just stayed the same the whole book, and you're like, wow, what a great book. It's fantastic.
Wow, amazing. Blown away.
Amazing character development. It's, you know, just people are going to change. Even somebody live streaming, they're like, hey, Crendor, I watched one of your WoW videos, and they just weren't as funny. And I was like, I mean, maybe you just got older, and it just your sense of, like, comedic, you know, interest changed. And he was like, oh, yeah, maybe. I was like, you know, I'm not like, my feelings aren't hurt. I'm not like, you don't like my video? It was like, you know, you probably just, you know, grew past it, or maybe your style of humor, like, whatever. Like, I'm not offended by it. It's just, everybody changes. Like, my sense of humor changed from back then to where I am now. Like, I have a far more drier sense of humor than I did back then. But, you know, and a little more, I'm definitely more like character improvisational now, which is kind of weird because I had so many, I guess, characters back then, but it's, I don't know. I feel like if you're not growing and developing as a person, like it's probably not a good thing.
Yeah, I agree. Change is always good, especially if you want something different. I personally wouldn't mind doing something other than machinimas eventually. I mean, I still could try like doing some like here and there, but I don't want it to be necessarily my focus. I mean, I I think that most people that do WoW machinimas would agree that they're probably some of the worst content you can make. I feel like in terms of like from a business standpoint, let's
Oh
say.
yeah.
Like there's just too much work, very little payoff sometimes, pretty risky, tough to make. It's just I don't know, and you still have to earn some money to actually buy food and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Especially in the age of like, something will happen and then somebody makes a video being like, dude, Burning Crusade confirmed, who knows? I mean, like, just like, instant news.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I can just sit in front of my shitty green screen and talk. Because who would do that? I have no idea. What an idiot. But it's one of the reasons I even started this show, like Fishing with Crendor. Which I can't believe I've done like 60 episodes almost. Oh my god. It's
Congratulations.
yeah, it's I don't know, like I always enjoyed fishing in WoW and just fishing in games in general, and it was a nice format to be able to talk to people, and so, it's kind of sticking with the World of Warcraft brand, but at the same time, like I really don't need WoW to be in the background to do something like this, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's really nice, and I enjoy WoW being in the background. I think it's fitting. So I think sometimes when you branch away from something, you can keep things like you can keep WoW as a background, or like keep machinima elements and whatever, but you can still like kind of divert your main topic of what you're doing.
Yeah, I agree.
And speaking of which, I wanted to talk to you about live streaming, because you said you're getting into live streaming now. So is that kind of just, are you getting into live streaming because it's the thing to do, or like what made you want to start live streaming?
I honestly just feel like it helps me a little bit more because I still want to, provide content and entertain. But if I do machinimas, that just means I'm sat in a room by myself or something for 2 to 3 weeks or something, and I'm staring at a screen and I'm doing the same action over and over. I'll open up a new project file, put in the background, record the characters one auto viewer, put the recordings inside, key it, adjustment layers, check it through, close, open new one, and you repeat it 10 million times, the same process. I barely speak with anyone, and I just find it super draining. And live streaming, I've just been getting into live streaming a lot more, like recently, just actively watching live streams, and I was like, I feel like this would sate my energy better. Like I have the energy, but I don't have anywhere to put it directly. And I just like talking with people. I like doing stuff proactively. And I thought, why not give it a go? I'm still getting into it. I haven't done it for a while, but it's fun. I don't know. It's definitely a different medium of content. Works a lot more different than actual YouTube prepared YouTube videos.
Yeah, I was saying earlier how it's more just videos are more like you're making a film for people to sit in a theater and watch or something, and then live streaming is more like you're on the stage in front of a live audience, kind of,
Yeah, exactly.
dancing or talking or whatever you're doing.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's, I actually really enjoy it. And I think back in the day when I first got started with Machinima, I don't think I would have enjoyed it as much as I do now. I think it's definitely something you gotta grow into a bit. And I think a lot of new people just don't. I mean, it's like anything. Try talking nonstop, for for like an hour or two, and just see if you can do it. Because it's it becomes kind of an art form essentially, or not even an art form, just like a skill.
Yeah, skill.
But it's have you found that for yourself as well, like getting used to just constantly talking and being live?
I don't know. I mean, I generally like talking. Sometimes while I edit, I would distract myself and I would chat in my Discord. Because, I don't know, a lot of people ask me about this. why do I respond to my community so much? Some stuff like I'll read through every comment on my videos at least twice. I would try to reply to a decent number of them. I'm always in my Discord welcoming people and stuff like that. I don't know. I just like it. I like talking. That's it. And I thought, well, I mean, live stream, that's pretty much half of the job, talking. I just can't shut the fuck up sometimes, so might as well talk about it. But, you know, sometimes it's just more like a question of, okay, how do I make this entertaining? How do I know when it is entertaining? And stuff like that.
That's true. I mean, that's kind of... I guess it's hard to judge, too, because somebody might find something entertaining that somebody else doesn't find entertaining, you know?
Oh, yeah, you just kind of have to try and do it for the most general thing, I guess, if that's your goal, of course, because, I mean, you can't really expect to appease everyone out there.
Yeah. Like, sometimes I'll play a game, and I know the game's not going to get a lot of views compared to if I played something else, but I'm like, you know what? I want to play this game, so I'm going to play it. And it's just...
Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah, just do what you want to do. And I feel like I kind of learned that from Total Biscuit back in the day. Because when he was stopping his WoW content, I remember he would just be like, you know, it's not a good business idea, but at the same time, it is a good business idea. You're sacrificing a thing you've got going for you, but at the same time, all your eggs are in that basket. And if that basket goes down, it's not good. So when you diversify and get everything going, then you at least have a few more legs to stand on, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it, in my opinion. I mean, I'm also sure, like, when you play that specific game that you personally enjoy, I'm sure your core audience enjoys it. Like, whoever's there for you, they just enjoy it. They see you entertaining yourself, and it just makes the stream a bit more alive. I don't know. It feels better.
Yeah. So I think even... You know, people can generally sense if somebody's enjoying themselves or not. Like, if you're watching someone play WoW, and they're just like, alright, and then let's go get a repair, I guess. Like, you'd be like, this guy's sad.
Yeah. Sometimes I can't lie that I feel like that sometimes. Because, honestly, if I had free time, I probably wouldn't play WoW. But because the people that come... usually would expect me to play WoW. I'm just like, okay, well, I guess I'm playing WoW. Okay, guys, we're gonna do some battlegrounds today. Oh, we lost 5 in a row. That was exciting, wasn't it? Oh my god.
It's a slippery slope to kind of navigate and kind of get down from. But you know, essentially, I think the biggest thing with this platform and just being an online content creator. I always say that in air quotes because I hate it. Or just any of those like terms they throw around. Like
influencer.
Influencer. I hate that one the most. It's I don't know. It can be taxing on your emotions because you got to deal with all that, and then on top of it, you have to like you said, it's like, do I keep playing WoW? Do I go away from it? If I do that, am I gonna be able to eat? 'Cause this is like my only source of income and things. So it's I think at the end of the day, it becomes very personality driven. And so you have to kind of diverse into just being yourself and kind of selling that personality of like, hey, this is me, and you can watch me play all these games, and if you want to see that, come on down. Instead of just like, I'm the machinima guy, and people watching you strictly for that.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. I mean, maybe some people just want to be the machinima guy. Maybe someone just wants to be that unknown person that edits in the background. It's kind of like a director for a movie, you don't really pay attention who the director is. You're like, oh my god, Johnny Depp is in this film? Fuck, I'm gonna watch that shit or something. It's like, it's kind of for the person you're seeing. But yeah, I mean, for people like us that maybe would want to diversify, not just stay in one place. It's different. You just have to build personality.
Yeah, because it's no, you're right. If you just want to be an editor in the background, like, you can go for it. Like, if that's what you want to do, you kind of have to find what you want to do. And I think after a few years of doing this, I realized like I wanna do more than just making WoW videos. Like, I wanted to branch out. I wanted to do my non-content and weird video ideas. I don't know, but yeah, you got to go on that journey. Yeah, go on that journey up in the Mulgore where they got the like incense or whatever they're smoking, and you got
Yeah, I mean,
you gotta find
it built
yourself.
it builds a brand in any case. Like the vibe I get off of your channel or your content is just chill. It's like whatever we're doing, whatever we feel like it.
Yeah. No, I think
Just relax.
yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. You're building your brand, and then your brand kind of reflects your personality. So it all kind of comes together at the end of the
Yeah.
day. Where would you say you want your brand and your kind of channel to go down the line? Like, do you want to get away from WoW? Because it feels like you're hinting towards it, but ideally, where would you want to go?
I mean, WoW. I can't say I've been like too happy, especially with current retail and stuff. BFA, I really dislike. Like,
Oh
I
yeah.
barely managed to play that. Shadowlands seems okay, but nowadays, I realize that the main reason I was so into WoW a lot of the times was because I had some of my friends to play with,
Hmm.
and nowadays most of them have pretty much stopped. Either got sick of it or just picked up something else. And a lot of the time, I'll go in and I'll be like, ah, yeah, just like back in the day, I'll just go play some arenas. But then I realize I don't really have anyone to play arenas with, and I just kind of feel like, maybe I should play something else. And with WoW, I'm not feeling that strong about it. Of course, I don't feel like you have to be super involved in WoW to make WoW content. Um, so, you know, it'll always have a good place in my heart because I don't know, it shaped me a lot and it really defined how I think about games and what I enjoy, just getting into MMOs. So I'll try to do stuff for it, but in general, I'm just kind of more like, honestly, as much as it sounds cliche, not for the metrics, but I love to just grow as much as possible. I want to see where I can go. Because again, I never really planned to do specifically WoW when I first started. I'm also kind of like, I just want to play whatever I feel like it, whether it's a new game or whatever. But I just like the process of growth and, reaching new audiences, entertaining, thinking of funny skits or spectacles, events, etc. Um, I don't know, because it feels good. The more people you reach, the more impact you have in my eyes, and as long as that impact is good, then hey, that's great.
Yeah.
So yeah, my goal is just kind of right now. I'm gonna keep making WoW for sure, because especially with TBC and stuff, I still have a lot of excitement left in me for WoW content.
Oh
But
yeah.
eventually, I'd love to like, if I could transition to something like live streaming, I guess it would be good because it seems a bit more my style, a little bit. If I can't, I mean, that's fine. If nobody will watch me, that's totally fine. I'm not really, I don't think all types of content are for everyone. Um, I'll still find a way, but I'll probably be trying to do some other stuff. I feel like I have skills that can be put into not only WoW.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
can definitely see that. I mean, it's it is always fun just constantly growing and be like, oh man, I got more subscribers now. This video's got more views and this thing has more views. Blah. So it's like there's definitely one of the fun parts I always liked about YouTube was just that it was like you weren't just doing it for artistic purposes essentially like I need to get my writing and editing and stories out there like it was just I love the marketing part and the
Mm.
psychology part and it was just like if I title this video unreleased Cataclysm trailer, people are gonna be like, what
Oh,
the shit is this? And then they click it and they're like, this isn't a thing, but you still got people to click on it and then you're just like, wow, what is this? This
easy.
is some sort of like baiting with clicks. This is crazy. And so I always enjoyed that part of it too.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting thing. I mean, in any case, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much you just want to make content because you feel like making content. It's still a profession, I feel.
Hmm.
You know, like I don't really feel strong about it, and I feel like I agree with you on the thing where you mentioned like you hate the term content creator or influencer, stuff like that. I
Hmm.
also find them not great terms because often they're used in a very questionable ways. Like,
Oh yeah.
influencers did this. They're just kind of weird. You gotta
Yeah.
avoid them. But at the end of the day, I don't know. I don't feel like there's anything wrong with calling yourself that, because as much as you're doing it, you want to claim that you're doing it for the fun of it. At the end of the day, it's still whether you like it or not. It just turns into like a profession that you need to think more seriously about. You need to start making decisions that shape either you or your community or your content. And yeah, I kind of forgot where we're going with that, but
There really was nowhere to go with it. It's just kind of, it was gonna kind of come back to just being like, where are we, man? Who are we? Why are we here?
yeah, exactly. I don't know anymore.
But the main question is, why did you quit League of Legends?
Okay. Fuck League of Legends. League of Legends, I've played since Season 1, at least early Season 1.
Oh yeah.
I love that game because initially, again, as I told you, my cousin got me into Warcraft 3, and from Warcraft 3 I found modded Warcraft, and I was like, oh shit, Dota is amazing. You have all these little characters, and they have their own signature abilities, you get some items, you kill people, that's crazy. And then League came out, and I was like, what is this dumb game? It looks like a childish ripoff of little 2-bit flowers and it's weird grass and trees. I'm like, nah, that's garbage. And then I played it anyway, and I was like, man, this game is so good. And I just kept playing it a lot, like a lot. I never really got into ranked. I just played always just normal games constantly. I don't know. I just didn't care about ranked for some reason. And eventually it got to Season 5 or 6 or something, and I was still enjoying it a lot. But at one point, like, I felt that Riot was just changing the game a lot, and I feel like it has changed the game a lot. And I remember I was like maining Rise, and I was like, man, I'm getting really good at Rise. This is actually fun. I'm blasting these people. I've optimized my item build, optimized my skill build, I optimized my runes, masteries, etc. And then they rework him. I'm like, what the fuck? I don't like this rework that much. Okay, I guess I'll play him a bit. And then they reworked him again a month later. I remember this very vividly. They reworked Rise 2 times in like 2 months. I was like, what the fuck is happening? And I was like, I don't like this teleport ability. I like my one-shot macro ultimate. I was like, okay, fuck that. I'm gonna main Malzahar. And I was like, oh shit, I love Malzahar. This ability is so good. I'm doing really good. And then they changed how his passive works. And I was like, well, this doesn't feel the same anymore. I don't like this anymore. And I was like, okay, Vladimir. And then they changed Vladimir's E, and I didn't like it anymore. And I was like, fuck, I really like Taric. I'm going Taric jungle. And then they changed Taric, and I was like, fuck that. Fuck that. They wanted to change every character. God forbid a character had a point-and-click stun ability. God forbid. It has to be a skill shot with a charge up, because that's how you make the big esports plays. That's it. And every character had to be complex, prepared for some really complicated, fancy plays. Other than that, you're not allowed to have brain-dead characters. God forbid you shut off your brain for 2 seconds playing League. I was like, I was just had enough. I like boiled to the brim. I was like, all of my mains are changed. I'm going crazy. I'm done. I just deinstalled it, and that was it. I literally, like, I don't know. It was so sudden. I was playing it every day, all day, for like years and years. And then just suddenly just got so fed up with it, the whole cup spilled, and I installed it instantly and never looked back.
To me, it's been like, wow, where I'll like quit and be like, this game sucks, and then I'll come back and be like, yo, this game's pretty fun. Why did I quit? And then like a month later, I'm like, this game sucks. And it's just the loop. And recently I quit because all the anime champions are too strong.
Yeah, I know, right? What the fuck? Like, I like see all, like, because I still like to keep track of it, and I see all these new release champions. I'm like, why are these all some fucking handsome dudes and handsome anime women? Everyone's fucking handsome. Why did they rework Dr. Mundo to be handsome? What the fuck is happening? Why is everyone good looking? I don't give a shit about that. Make some monstrosities.
I hate it.
Yeah, I don't like it either, and not really my thing.
Yeah,
Too forced.
Yeah, they're definitely tailoring it towards the crowd. Then the Ruin King's just like some anime guy with like his shirt off or whatever.
Yeah,
like, all right,
so cool and edgy.
so edgy.
Yeah.
So I'm just, I don't know. I'll end up coming back to it. I know I will, but I'm not gonna like it.
Yeah, ban him every game. At the start, just ban him.
I just want
Don't play enemy
banks.
characters.
That's all I want.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I just feel like, honestly, I feel like League is in a similar place like WoW. Like, the game's changed so much throughout the years that they just need to make, like, a classic server.
Yeah.
Like, old League.
I agree. It's, yeah, because the old one had, like, a nice variety of characters and, like, you know, it wasn't just all anime. You had a couple of them, but, like, yeah, it's, you know, whatever. But
yeah.
Now it's just literally every...
Yeah. I mean, I've seen that some, you know, just fans are trying to make like private servers type stuff that are like, we're gonna remake League with Season 1 League, and everyone can play it. And I think that's pretty cool, as long as Riot doesn't do anything. I've actually had the pleasure of trying out one of these servers recently, like Chrono Shift, I think, because most of them seem to just fail. But this one is sticking around. I don't think Riot are doing anything about it. So if it does happen, that would be cool. That's pretty much like League Classic and like early League. If nobody's played it, I think they should give it a shot because it's such a different game.
It really is. Yeah, thinking back to then, it was just the graphics, the champions, like the art, like just everything about it was just so different. And it was, man, I can't believe it was that long. So I think I actually started playing League when I started making WoW videos. So it must have been like 2009 or 10.
Really? That's pretty... Is that beta or something?
I think it was right after beta. All I know is I started playing when Mordekaiser came out.
Oh, I don't remember.
It was before Season 1. I don't even think Seasons existed yet. And it was... God, yeah, Mordekaiser came out, and then Ezreal came out.
I think I might have been around somewhere there as well. I very vividly remember Nocturne coming out several months after I started. Or maybe
I remember Nocturne coming out. Let's see. Mordekaiser...
Because he was just one-shotting people.
Mordekaiser was February of 2010, so literally like 11 years ago. When was Nocturne?
That's a while.
It is a while.
I don't remember, honestly.
Nocturne was March of 2011, so about a year later. So it's pretty close.
Maybe towards the end of 2010, I probably started.
Yeah. So that's, man, that's a long time of...
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Oh my god, that's been so long, actually.
Yeah, like, you never really realize how long League's been out until you look it up and you're like, oh my god.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, I think we'll probably start wrapping up. Got a little over an hour here, so it was a good chat. I think we
enjoyed it.
And it rained the entire time, so it's a nice like ASMR ambient episode.
Perfect.
Yeah. So thank you again for joining me. And if you if people want to see your videos or your live stream, whatever you want, where would they go?
On YouTube, just Captain Grim, and on Twitch, Captain Grim _ that was taken, the other one. So
it's I'll link it in the description anyway, so it's, you know, easy.
Thanks.
Yeah, but
yeah, it was my pleasure. It was very fun to chat.
Yeah, it was fun. So thank you again for coming on, and hopefully you get all your WoW live streaming and everything figured out going forward.
Yeah, I would definitely try it out. It's pretty fun. I'll give it a good go.
Yeah. And don't come back to League.
Yeah, fuck that shit. I'm fine with Dota for now. Yeah, I'm not coming back.
And I never know how to end these, so I'm just going to end it. And see ya.